What is up, everyone? It is your host, Kalyan and Rath. You're listening to CGSF 90.1 FM. This show is called VIBECHECK, and today we are starting off the show by listening to my debut single, Take Me Away, featuring Sahadi, available on all platforms, and also a music video available on YouTube. Make sure to go check it out if you get the chance. Anyways, let's get right into this amazing song. I don't know, what you're feeling tonight. Yeah, I'm thinking past the time. My memories align. I don't know what you're feeling tonight. Yeah, I'm thinking past the time. My memories align.
Wish I could meet you for the first time. Forget all about these last nights. This box left, there's no more starlight. I'm just trying to make things right. Despite the fights that you can't without. No idea yourself what it's about. I'm just trying to figure you out. And I can't wait to get to the weekend. To the weekend. Fights that you can't without. No idea yourself what it's about. I'm just trying to figure you out. And I can't wait to get to the weekend. To the weekend.
What is up, everyone? You're listening to VibeCheck on CGSF 90.1 FM. I'm your host, Kalyan Rath, and today I am joined by WAYFIE. Woo!
Hey.
They can hear the clapping and all that stuff like that. Anyways, today on this week's show, we brought in WAYFIE. Just dropped a new single, I Just Want to See My Friends. An incredible song. Hits the heart, especially during COVID. You know, everyone trying to see their friends, all that stuff like that. And yeah, we just brought him in today to just chat and stuff like that and all kinds of cool stuff. Any opening remarks you want to get into before I start asking questions? Any plugs, any shout outs?
Any plugs, any shout outs? Shout outs to mom, shout outs to dad. Shout out to Mika, shout out to Mika. There's two Mikas, so that was a double shout out. Mika aka Kid Filthy, Mika aka Manager. Shout out to Jacob 2K, shout out to Slowly. Yeah, I'd say that's it. Shout out to Kairos. I think that's it. I think that's the list.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, you just dropped a new single. I Just Want to See My Friends. And,
True.
I think it's an incredible song. I think you've been outdoing yourself this year, especially. Like, I was already a fan going into the new year, and then you had Fairy Tales that like was on repeat forever, and then you come back with another song that was even better. How do you do it? How do you keep getting better, and how do you keep coming up with these songs? How do you, like, what is your inspirations? All that mumbo jumbo, like, what's things like that. Yeah.
What is my inspiration? How do I keep coming up with new songs? Well, both of the songs that I've released this year, I pretty much made like an entire year ago. So like the ideas for them were pretty much completed like a year ago. And then since then it was just a matter of really planning and figuring out how I wanted them to be executed in their final form, I guess. And I think the last year's been kind of crazy for everyone. So seeing both of those songs evolve from where they started was really cool. And yeah, no, what's my inspiration? I guess my inspiration for those songs was just being tired of, not being able to tell my story honestly, because I was participating in the process of helping so many artists tell their story. And that's the beauty of being a producer, is you get the chance to help people's songs come to life, and you get the chance to help the message be reached to other people by making the songs feel more presentable to people through production. And I just got tired of it. I just felt like I kept telling myself in my head every time I'd be working with an artist, I'd be like, oh man, like I feel like I could do that. Not better, but like I feel like I'm like, oh man, I feel like I wish I could say it exactly how I'd want to say it, but not necessarily in their message, but like in my own message. And then that's where I came to the realization, like, man, I've just been suppressing this innate desire to want to tell my story and to want to like express myself, and through writing, because I've always been a writer. And it's like, developing the skills as a producer naturally led me to realize that now I have like a writing ability that I've had since like middle school. And then now I have the ability to combine it with like my skills as a producer, and really kind of spent the last year diving into what it means to be a songwriter. And yeah, I've just been slowly discovering new experiences and slowly discovering new life lessons, as I'm sure everyone has been.
Yeah.
And so I stay inspired by just taking it easy, just taking it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible to hear. Yeah, it's funny. When I first heard of you, you were just Inja in Loop Sessions.
That is true.
That's when I first discovered you, thanks to, actually I joined Loop Sessions first because of Colder, and Colder was like, oh, one of my favorite producers is Inja and Angelo, and all those people. And yeah, that's how I had first discovered you. And then I think like a month later I heard Nothing Hurts for the first time. Yeah, it was like the first month after
COVID started.
Yeah, I think
like lockdown.
Because I had never done Loop Sessions until the very first COVID Loop Sessions, and then right after that, like a month later, I heard Nothing Hurts for the first time. I was like, this is incredible. I had that song like on loop like 24/7. And then Song Camp, and then that was like an incredible moment, just seeing you like when you joined. Oh my god, that was yeah. And then since then, yeah. What was I gonna ask? I completely forgot.
I don't know. It's all good.
I just went on the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, first thing, when I first heard you, Loop Sessions, and you were just the producer.
Inja.
Incredible. Like when you first started making music, was that like your intention? Like, were you like, I want to produce for other artists at first, and then just like later you got the feeling of like, or was it just like you just started producing just because people had asked? Or
yeah, no. So when I first started, I don't know, like, I don't know if you've ever been asked this question, or if I'm sure you have over the course of your entire experience, being in school or whatever. But they asked you like, what do you want to be when you're older, And I got to grade 8. And when I was in grade 8, I actually moved from like the town that I had been born and raised in for like 12 years. So when I was like 13 in grade 8, my whole family moved to Ontario abruptly, and like my whole family, like all my siblings were back here, and just me and my younger brother, my mom and dad, moved to London, Ontario. And so it was kind of like a traumatic experience, like not to devalidate anyone else's trauma that's like more explicitly recognizable as trauma. But it was traumatic because it was basically like, oh man, my sense of home is just like removed, my sense of foundation is, and then I was going, it was like just kind of stars aligning in the sense that like, I was entering into my angsty teen years as well, and I was listening to a whole lot of like folk music and indie music, just feeling misunderstood as ever. And that led me to going to London, Ontario. And in grade 8, I remember we had like these art assignments, and it's weird because in BC, I was going to be entering into high school in grade 8 because a lot of high schools here like they have grade 8 integrated into them, which I think is a cool thing because it's like, you're obviously not like a high schooler when you're in grade 8. You're still kind of like a little kid.
That's what, 100%, yeah.
But I think it's cool because it integrates you and it gets you ready. But in Ontario, it's not like that. So, and in most places, it's not like that. I don't think it's usually middle school. So I was still like, I went from expecting to be like, going into high school to like still being stuck with like a school full of like kindergartners and stuff. But I was still, so it was an interesting experience. But we had this art assignment, and so the reason I clarify that is because, you don't have all the different teachers for all the different classes. You still have like your one teacher. And so the teacher did this like art assignment, and he was like, all right, so everybody, take this piece of paper and like express, what you want to be when you're older. And I was in grade 8, so I'm like, damn, what do I want to be? And so, new city, new school. And so I remember just like drawing this like picture of like a composer, like, or not a composer, but like a conductor at an orchestra. And it like, if you look at the conductor from behind, because that's how you would normally see it, because the orchestra faces the audience and then the conductor faces the orchestra. So the picture was like someone with their arms spread out, and like they're facing like an orchestra, but it was like I integrated like this cool nature backdrop, and I didn't even know what it meant, but I just knew that that's the feeling I wanted to like pursue for the rest of my life. I wanted to experience what it felt like to just be like standing up in front of a whole like room and just be like creating this like beautiful, overwhelmingly emotional experience for people. And eventually that led to me just following my passion as a songwriter, because I feel like that's going to be the closest thing I feel that my skills and my talents can really allow me to do and express myself through. And yeah, I just feel so much, I just feel so much satisfaction from being able to just say something and it just hit, like it just hits. So
actually, I just had a conversation with my parents about that. I was talking about how it feels like the best music is when it's like, when like music is supposed to make you feel something. So if the artist doesn't like put their feelings into it, then not only are they not going to be happy, but no one else is going to listen to it, because it's just like music's supposed to make you feel something. And I definitely think you've just like knocked that out the park already, that you just like whatever you're feeling, you just go for it, and you just write, and that's incredible talent. I don't really know what else to describe it as, but yeah. No, it's
thank you.
Cool to
I don't even think I answered your question really. I think you asked me like I think you asked me if like I started off wanting to be a producer and like if artists.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because when I had first heard of you, you were just Inja. Like I'm pretty sure like WAYFIE wasn't like a thing quite yet. So like I was a little bit like as soon as I heard your voice singing and all stuff, I'm like, oh, this is Inja. I was like, oh, this is incredible. Yeah. But well, I guess the first question was,
Oh yeah, no. Well, I'll answer that question just more directly. Okay. So I got into music production because my guitar amp got stolen from my parents' church, and the insurance money covered like me to go to Long and McQuaid and get a new guitar amp. And the guy there like convinced me to buy this like cool digital amplifier, and it was like total scam. Like it wasn't worth the money. I should have gotten something a little bit more reliable. But it came with a demo for Ableton Live. And that's when I really like the Pandora's box opened, and I started like playing with guitar loops, because in middle school and high school I was really into this genre called post rock, and I still am. I'm still a deep lover of post rock music, but it's defined often by like the intricate guitar parts that just kind of like work together in sort of a symphonic way. But I would mess around doing like post rock music, on Ableton, and then eventually I got into like Dead Mouse and Skrillex and like dubstep and like all that stuff, and like I was really into that, and Chill Step too. I really love Chill Step. Shout out to Mount Eden.
Fun. Yeah.
Shout out to Mount Eden. Burial's really good too. Not necessarily in the same category, but same vibes. And yeah, so that led me to kind of exploring the possibilities of being a producer. And yeah, from there, YouTube was really my best friend, and I just taught myself everything I knew on YouTube. And then I ended up getting a scholarship because I came in third place for this remix contest for an audio school, and I ended up attending the audio school and graduating, doing a 12-month diploma there.
If you don't mind me quickly asking, what was the audio school?
Nimbus School of Recording Arts and Media.
I was in that competition too. I think I know what competition. Yeah, I know the I forgot what it was. I forgot. It was like there's like 3 songs you had to pick from to remix, right?
Yeah, so they I don't know if they still do it or how long they've been doing it, but since I had heard of them, they did it every year as a way to like basically like get people in their door. And it worked for me because I was in grade 10 and I was living in Victoria at the time. And I just remember like being in my foyer and like I got a call from Nigel, and he's actually shout out to Nigel Aslan. He produced and worked on some of this band Half Moon Run stuff, and he also was an instructor at the school, and I unfortunately didn't really have him as a teacher or instructor, but he was the one who called me up, and I was like so ecstatic on the phone. And then that was really just like another sign that was like, you need to go to this school and become a producer. But really the one thing that inspired me to become a producer was just being a fan of like Kanye West and like Pharrell, and just seeing like these people who were so artistic, but like started off in the producer route, started off producing for other people, started off making beats, and from there used that to kind of like support themselves in making their own music. So I guess those were some of the people who really inspired me to be like a self-produced artist. And then yeah, time went on, and as I kind of solidified myself as like a professional in the role, I just discovered that it wasn't truly giving back to me as much as I wanted, and that my true passion was telling my story.
And now you just honed down and do you still produce for other artists though from time to time, or is you just like, no, I'm focusing on myself? Like, there's like,
yeah, I do production work, but like it's for contracts, so it's like I'm just doing it as a means of like paying my bills essentially. Because it's like I've developed a skill. I've developed it as like a skill now, whereas like it's not like my main passion to like want to go out and necessarily be a producer for the people. But now what I'm doing is I'm kind of using it as like hey, like I'm a songwriter and I'm good as a songwriter, but I'm also a good producer. So like if you want to work with me as a co-writer, you could also benefit from, my production work. And a lot of producers who I look up to today, I think are doing a similar thing. Like Jack Ananoff, he's like a big name. He's like worked with Taylor Swift and like Lorde, and so he's like, I think he's similar. Joel Little is another name that jumps to my head. He's also worked with Taylor Swift, such as a common denominator. Yeah, and just like a bunch of people out there are doing that, and I like that there's a possibility, and so I'm just kind of pursuing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got to take advantage of having that skill. Yeah. And like you said, like a lot of successful artists started off as producers and so on and so on. So yeah, definitely. I'm still on the competition, because I swear I remember your name. Like I swear I had the exact same one as you, because I had did it once when I was in like grade 7.
Okay, then you very well could have been in the same one as me, because I was in grade 10 at the time, and that would have meant it would have been, so I graduated in 2016, so grade 11 was 2015, so 2014, it would have been like 2013/2014.
I don't think
the 3 songs were,
that was long ago.
It was a Cardinal Official song was one of them.
No, I don't think it was the same one, but I don't know. I remember the name. Maybe it was like the year after, something like that. I had done the competition like very young, and I remember that was a whole thing that they didn't let me like put, like, because they're like, oh, you're in grade 7, what are you doing in this competition and all this stuff like that, because I think you had to be in high school to do it or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was the rule, like 16 or something.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah, because I did it once when I was in grade 7 and once when I was in grade 9, and then I came like third place in like the fan voting thing or whatever. Nice. People can go vote, but I didn't come in the top 3 in the thing. But then they like offered me a tour. I just remember that. But yeah, I think it was like the exact same, like because they did it every year. I don't know if they do it anymore, but it's definitely to anyone listening, any producers, go search that up. That competition is very good. See, WAYFIE is doing wonders now because of that competition. So
yeah, I wouldn't say so, but I'd say that it definitely was a stepping stone along the path.
True, yeah, definitely, yeah. True. I don't know much about Nimbus though as a school. Like I just know that I have been to campus before once for some thing. It wasn't even for music. It was just something completely different. But yeah, but a little bit back more onto you with the production stuff. But yeah, no, that's definitely cool. I noted that this song camp as well, the last song camp, you ended up produced a winning track, actually, speaking of that. So yeah, I just realized you produced a winning track, fading and all that stuff like that. So yeah, no, but it definitely shows that you got that background and that you're taking advantage of it as much as you can, but still focusing a lot on the music side of stuff, which is like tough for people. Like I find myself like I'm either 100% devoted to production at times, and I'm 100% focused on like recording and songwriting. And no, it's just definitely cool to see someone like be able to kind of have the best of both worlds. Because I always catch myself like there'll be a week where I'll produce nothing, and I'll just like do nothing but record all day for every day, and then the following week only produce. And I wish I can kind of like do it at the same time, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, well, every time I release something, it tends to be one of those lucky days where I like produce something from scratch, and then, so but yeah. Anyways, speaking of music making and everything release wise, any what's your plan now? I know you just dropped a single, so I don't know if you already have plans for the next song, but what's the plan?
Yeah, well, I mean, so the plan tentatively is, so our plan for 2021 was the years gone by. Like it still feels like 2020.
Yeah, it does sometimes. Yeah.
But so the plan for 2021 was to release 4 singles. So we've released 2 so far. This being the second one that I released yesterday. Yeah, so we got 2 more songs in 2021, and then I think the next one's going to be a summer bop. It's going to be a little bit more lovey-dovey. You're going to hear my love song side of me. You're going to hear like the, hey, this man's in love.
True. That's gonna be so now from all the singles you should make the last one super like even more lovey-dovey happy, because it felt like with not saying that like fairy tales is like sad, but it's definitely like it felt almost like I don't know, you could definitely cry to it if that makes sense, but like in a good way, in like a good way, not like a sad kind of crying, but it's good. Like while watching the sunset, crying to it. And then it felt like even though
totally
like I just want to see my friends is also like it's a bit more upbeat, is a bit more happier, but even with the lyrics it's still like
it hits.
It's like it just exactly it hits. And then you got the next single that's supposed to be more lovey-dovey summer bop, so you just kind of like change in vibe. If that, I don't know where I went with that. I was trying to explain something, but I don't know.
I mean, you're totally picking up on the trajectory here, and I think the big thing is that like my WAYFIE project started off as me just like really trying to bite the bullet and like initially give myself that permission and initially take that jump, which in like the grand scheme of things isn't a huge jump, but to me as someone who was like a closeted artist and someone who was fearful of actually giving myself permission to sing and express myself through words and song, WAYFIE was basically me creating a SoundCloud account at 4 a.m. It was towards the end of my time at Nimbus, and I just pulled out my classical guitar and started singing into my webcam microphone, and I just posted the track. Like I recorded it, posted it to SoundCloud on this account called WAYFIE, and I woke up the next day and it had like 200 listens, and I had like 20 new followers, and like I didn't do anything, and I just took that as a sign. I was like, you know what, if like 20 people like unsolicitedly found my song and like just like thought it was so good that they needed to follow me, or thought anything that they needed to follow me, I'm like, I'm just going to keep making songs for those 20 people. And then I released another song, but I wanted to just, create this standard of like, I'm not going to put any effort into making it sound nice. I'm just going to like focus on like the feeling of it. And it just ended up being very like, like smoky fog through the pine tree, kind of like coffee shop, Bon Iver, whatever,
Yeah.
And it was very poetic and emotional. Which is such a valuable asset to writing good songs, but that's all it was. It was just emotion. It was just feeling. And I felt like that isolated the possibility of me being able to connect with other people and with more people, and with being able to actually communicate a message, because when you just have that such concentration of feeling, you tend to find the people who need the feeling more, versus like, there's a lot of people who want the feeling, but they also want the message. And I think if it's just too much feeling, it's like, you miss the mark sometimes. And that's what I was doing. And so now I think what 2021 is my final attempt to be like, not my final attempt, but like my first attempt to be like, all right, let's just like start making more balanced songs. Like, let's not just put out the sad stuff. And so Fairy Tale was like an homage to my indie sad boy. Yeah. But I still managed to make it feel poppy. So it was like indie sad boy pop. And then this one's just like way more pop, still a little bit sad, but I'm like inching away from that sad boy vibe because, as you're looking at me, but people will be hearing me. You can see I'm just like talking with my hands. I'm a very animated person. I smile a lot. I have happiness in my life. I'm very happy. And I don't want to just be known as this like sad indie vibe for the rest of my life, so.
True, yeah. Just like if you look at all your profile on Spotify, even on the Inja stuff on SoundCloud, and also on the WAYFIE on SoundCloud, you can. I feel like you can tell just from the photos alone, like you're just generally. You've always got a smile in all your photos, right? So it's definitely hearing something like when I heard "Nothing Hurts" for the first time, that's when I was super. That's why I was so thrown off. I was like, "What? The guy that's always smiling and just like a." Yeah.
Nothing hurts was like. I was stuck in Europe, and then I released that.
Oh wow!
I released that. That was like my last laptop vocal recording song. That was like the last one.
That was the last one,
and now I'm like, I respect myself enough to make my vocals sound clean.
Record, yeah. Speaking of, we're talking all about the WAYFIE tracks, but where did the name WAYFIE come from?
Oh man, it's really cute. So my girlfriend, she just like, anyone's significant other is you have fun, you play with each other's names. You're like Kalyan, Kali or whatever. I don't know what people call you. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Right? They like mess with your name and they make it. Yeah. So my name's Nathan. So people were like, oh, she was like, it was like, it went from Nathan to Nathan, so it changed the th to a F sound, like a Nathan, and then it was Nafy, and then it was Nafy WAYFIE. Oh no, it was Nafer. Sorry, I can't take a shortcut on this. It was Nathan, then it was Nafy, then it was Nafer, and then it was Nafer Wafer, and then it was Nafy WAYFIE, and then I was like, oh, Nafy WAYFIE, and then it was like WAYFIE. So, and then it just ended up being like. Sometimes she'll call me Wafer. Sometimes she'll call me, I don't know. It's just like whatever. I just know when I'm being referred to it, and I just respond accordingly. So,
wow.
Yeah, I just thought since it was
probably the most unique artist story I've ever heard on Vibe. Like, wow, that was, yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Well, I just thought like I feel unique. I feel like a unique person. Yeah. So I felt like when I was choosing my artist name, I was like, it's got to be something that like is just honest and unique and is true. And I think for me, it's like having myself, go out and take the courage to put my artistry out there and be vulnerable and share my story and do what a lot of people don't have the courage to do. I'm gonna like want to be known by a name that inherently, is kind of vulnerable, because it's like the thing that the person who's closest to me refers to me as, So I think just the fact alone that people are going to recognize my art by like a name that someone who knows me so personally relates to me as, it's like, I think that's why I really chose it.
True. Yeah. That's why in some lines I ended up like when I started doing all my stuff as well, I just stuck with using my name, because most of my stories are gonna relate to the people that like I know, right? Because like that's like how else you write music? You write about your life stories and who's involved with your stories, your family and friends, right? So yeah, but I never even thought of. No, I'm still like, we've heard all kinds of stories. Like people are talking about like, I think I'm trying to think of another example of someone else that had a weird friends like coming up with their name story. But yeah, no, that one easily tops it. No, that's definitely.
Well, now the people
like
know.
The best. Yeah, that's definitely
now they know.
Yeah, when people are coming up with their artist names, now you gotta know. You gotta unique and honest.
What's the station name again? What's the station?
CGSF.
You're listening to CGSF with WAYFIE and Kalyan.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's. I'm gonna. That's one. I'm gonna like. I'm gonna clip that afterwards because that's gonna be the most. I'm gonna use the promo and stuff to let everyone know, like that's the most.
I sound way too serious.
Yeah. No, I mean like the story of just how you came up with it. That was, I don't know. I've heard all kinds. I think the only other person that was as interesting. We had Calder on once, like right before all the messenger stuff started, and I think he like brought up on how he wanted to start that, and he brought up the messenger name once, which was also, it was something similar to what you just said how you came up with the WAYFIE name. I can't quite. My mind is blanking so much right now for some reason, but yeah, yeah. No, it's cool to see how you came up with your name and how it like your name is so connected to your music, because like you just said.
Yeah,
it's something personal and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, it's super sick. I can't think of any other questions. Oh my god.
Oh, good. Ask me a regular everyday question.
A regular everyday question.
Yeah.
How's your day been?
Oh man, my day's been kind of average. But you want to know something? Last night, so. My dad somehow got his hands on like all of these like boxes of like Starbucks beans, and don't ask me how, but he gave us like a bunch of them. So we've just been chipping away at it, but I have to grind the beans every night if I want to set coffee. And so last night we were out of ground beans, and it's like I came home like at 12, so I'm like, I'm not going to grind beans in the middle of the night because you know I have respect for my neighbors.
Yeah.
I don't want to like wake anyone up in the middle of the night just grinding beans. Yeah. So I just took the leftover coffee and I poured it in like a little bottle, and I put it in the fridge. And this morning I made myself a little iced coffee because, you know, it's sunny outside. And so I just enjoyed some iced coffee today. So that's pretty much the highlight of my day, other than being able to talk to you. So this is the new highlight, because
it's the new highlight.
I love talking to people. So
yeah, I love talking to people too. It's right. It feels better now that the sun's out a little bit, you know, just kind of. Yeah, everyone's mood just kind of brightens as soon as all the cold weather and rain has kind of gone away. Looks like, and
people start looking at each other more.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think just like, because you're just like out and about, and even especially with COVID, like I found last year's summer as well. Like summer last year was still good even with COVID-19, just because you can like go out to a park and like socially distance picnic and like talk to each other, versus when it's winter, like no one really wants to go out. Like it's you know, like it's winter. I love the snow and all that. I love skiing, snowboarding, all that stuff, but it's just like
nice.
It's not the same, you know, like versus summer when you can just like, you don't have to go out wearing 30 layers. And yeah.
I'm definitely on the layers game. It's like t-shirt, long sleeve tee, crew neck sweater, hoodie, jacket. That's like my layer.
That's the best part. Winter I love to layer up though. Like I definitely love to get a little stylish with it. And summer you can't really do that, but I don't know. I don't really mind that too much. I think you can still get stylish during the summer and go out and just being able to go out. I think that with the sun out, it just feels like it's almost like there's just more freedom for some reason. It's just like a feeling when the sun's just kind of hitting on you. And just out and about. It's also very good for songwriting. I feel like a lot of like my best songs were like all recorded
let's talk
like
about
last year this summer. Like last like you were bringing that up as well, how all like fairy tales and I just want to see my friends was recorded last year, or not recorded, like the ideas of it started last year. And
well, a lot of the parts were recorded like last year.
They were actually recorded last year. Wow. That's Yeah, no, it's funny you bring that up because also my last single was the exact same. Where like last year, right before the summer, actually last year right before the summer, me and the Sunnyside team came up with the idea to do the song camps, and we did our
Right.
very first song camp. And the very
Nice.
first song camp is where I made my last single as well, which was also during the summer.
Sweet.
Same in that realm as well, where it was like, oh, and the song was completely different then, but it was still the same idea, the same like the whole Tuda weekend thing, which I found very funny because like the whole thing was supposed to not like hate school, but it was supposed to be like, oh, I'm stressed over school, all this stuff, I can't wait for the weekend to party. And I don't know why we came up with that song during the summer, but it's the weirdest time.
What was that like for you? Like, what was that like balancing school and and like starting the
Now
Sunnyside?
you're the interviewer. Okay.
Come on, it's a conversation. Come on.
True. Yeah, what was it like? I don't know. It was weird when we first started the collective, because we were supposed to start the collective like we had an idea for like a launch party. We are gonna invite like every artist in the city, and we're gonna put on this like show, and then but this was like all in like February 2020,
Right.
and then COVID hit, and we're like, okay, so they throw everything that we had planned
Plans
out of the water,
out the window.
out the window.
Yeah.
And so we were like, what are some, but I don't know, I think it was very apparent that none of us wanted to give up like right away. We're like, we need to do stuff that involves doing what we love. And I was like, one thing that we love the most is like making music. Like when I found it, my best music comes from when I work with others, right? Like me personally, like even the writing side of stuff, production side of stuff, I have to like for example, like Take Me Away, the last single, like I think like I went through like 20 people. Like I could have technically given like 20 people writing credits on that song. The amount of people that were like sitting with me, like helping me like work on that song was like like because that's why I liked it so much, is because the amount of people that helped work on it, kind of thing, right? And I find that's my best music. So I was like, so yeah, we kept bringing that up, and as a group, I'll give credit to Hallelujah, otherwise she's gonna be mad at me. She was the one that came up with the song camp idea. Shouts out Hallelujah. But yeah, she was the idea. She was like, let's do this song camp thing, and I think it was inspired. It was actually she had first brought up the SoCan song camps, because they have like the small. It's not like a competition style, but it's definitely like if you're signed to SoCan, you can go be involved, right? So it's not like. It's also called song camps, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's similar concept, but not exactly the same thing. And then I had also brought up loop sessions as like a fun thing, where it was like a time crunch thing. It's like you have like 4 hours. How long was loop? I forgot exactly how long loop sessions.
I think you get 4 hours.
Is it 4 hours? Something like that. Yeah, like the sample
4 hours,
8, and then you have.
You get 4 hours
to figure it out. Yeah. What was loop sessions like? And if you don't mind, I'm just randomly jumping away from the story. If you don't mind me asking, what was loop sessions like in person? I don't know if you've ever been in person, but I never went in person.
Yeah, so I've been a few times. I went maybe 4 or 5 times before the pandemic. I didn't go I wasn't like a faithful go every month. Some of my friends go like every month. But yeah, I love that community. Shout out to Mikey J. Blige, and shout out to Nick Wisdom, and shout out to everyone else a part of it. Shout out to the East Boulevard crew. I'm rocking their merch right now. Shout out to East Boulevard. Mr. Stee. Nick Bilski. But so the loop sessions was it was awesome because we all got together in Gastown at I can't remember, Nemesis coffee shop, cafe, whatever. Shout out to Nemesis. It was awesome because there were just all these crazy producers. Everyone has such a different style, and like people brought their SP404s and were like doing live chops, and it was just cool. But what for me as a producer and someone young in the scene and wanting to prove myself to other producers, it's a great way to connect. It's kind of like skaters, I don't know if you've ever been to the skate park before, but like it's super primitive. Like you go there and you just like have to present yourself in like your abilities to just go for it. And it's not necessarily about being good, but it's like, are you willing to go for it? And like, are you willing to step out on that stage and just do something? And then you get like this unspoken respect based on your ability to just go for it. And I think that's the cool thing about loop sessions, is it just like, it brings people together in that sense. And it just encourages people to like, just go for it. Just go make a beat in 4 hours and just play it for a room full of people who like might judge you. But like, it's okay, that, because it's not about judgmental, like it's not about judging each other. It's just about sharing yourself and just like celebrating each other for like the courage to do that, So
Yeah, loop session. I remember the very first one I did. I just remember like there was like a group call. I don't
hmm
know if you remember. You were there. I remember you being there. I don't know if you remember me being there, but I forgot. It was like you, me, Calder, a few other people. I completely forgot who, but yeah, no. It felt very like welcome. Like no one was like put down. Like I don't think I ever I never felt like that one bit. Like I felt like I already felt like super welcome. Like when I joined the
hmm
call, there people were just like, yeah, and like just watching the live stream along with everyone else and just like listening to the beats.
Right.
And like looking at the chat as well while when my beat started playing. I remember the very first one I did. I submitted the beat first, like before anyone else.
Oh,
So I was the very first person to go. I was a little nervous. And I wasn't. I remember I was super like not happy with the beat, but people were like, it has a lot of potential, and I was like, okay, thank God. I was like, okay, good. Like at least I didn't look stupid. And then I did the next one, and then I haven't done one since. But I don't know when it's the first Tuesday of every month, right? Tuesday, or is it
yeah, I think they were switching it up a little bit, but
or Thursday or something like that of every
yeah, for
week?
anyone listening who's a producer or anyone in
Yeah.
the scene who wants to get involved, if you're in Vancouver or you're in any surrounding city, Loop Sessions happens once a month. Go follow them on Instagram, Loop Sessions
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver, I believe, LSV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you want to get plugged in, they're normally announcing any cool events or anything happening on their stories or their posts. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were hoping, speaking of them, and a little bit back to the song cam stuff. I just
mhm.
remember because the original idea of song, like when we were coming up with the idea of song camps, it was almost like a mixed mash of all, like I said, and one of the things that we mixed matched in was the loop session. So we definitely gotta go talk to these people and like let them know thank you for the idea, and if they want to get involved, kind of thing, because that's something that I think helps. I think like the thing when the idea of song camp was like we didn't even have judges and stuff at first, like, or no money. We just like did it so that people would make music together.
Right.
Um, and then people weren't really coming in, and then someone said that, oh, this is well, then got told about this grant, and we're like, okay, here's this grant, and we didn't really need all that money to just like, was it to for all, like the money was given to us to pay for like premium Zoom and all kinds of stuff to help run, and like
Right.
for ads and all kinds of stuff. But we didn't need all that money for the ads and the premium Zoom and all that stuff like that. So we were just like, what do we do with the rest of it? And we're like, let's just give it away in prizes.
Nice.
Um, yeah, we just started giving them away. We started getting like judges to come and give away prizes, and that was fun. I think the only thing though that I have found so far, which I don't know if you felt this, because you've been in two now, right? I believe two song camps in a row you've been a part of now.
Yeah, I think
Is it
I
two
think I
or
don't know if it was you or Hallelujah or someone who is involved with Sunnyside hit me up the first time and was like, "Hey, we'd love to have you involved." And I was like,
mm-hmm.
"Cool, that's awesome. I'd love to be involved." So I got involved, and I think I was paired up with Evan and
Mm-hmm.
another girl named April.
Yeah.
And shout out to
That
Stark.
yeah, that isn't you guys
Yeah.
recorded Miles, right?
Yeah, so
Which
April
is
had
out now.
actually written this song,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the position of, not like, because I know Evan's a producer, so I'm like, well, let's let Evan produce. He does that fantastically. And I kind of just offered my assistance as like a co-writer, and I
Word.
they really wanted me to put some vocals on it, so I threw some vocals on it, and then yeah, April ended up releasing that, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was really fun to be a part of that and help kind of like get the idea from just like an idea to like a finished song, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've noticed that the last two song camps actually you've been a part. Everyone, you become the luckiest player or luckiest competitor, because two song camps in a row you have been stuck with someone from the Sunnyside Collective. The first one was Evan, and now then next song camp Hallelujah. And on top of that,
Right.
you get paired. Like you've always ended up getting paired with people that we're like that we already knew about April. I went to school with April. I knew
Cool.
Lila because she was on VibeCheck like last year when she first like made her debut onto the scene.
Very cool.
So you've always been stuck with people that we knew were like good people. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just the funny thing that I was trying to go back to real quick about the judges was the thing with bringing in judges and giving away prizes that we've noticed, which we don't know if we'll continue that, because the only thing is that there's been a bit of a, at least this last song camp, a very like hostile vibe. Like some people like had come forward to me and were like, oh, my teammates are trying so hard to win. I'm like, but that's not what, like, I don't know. It's a weird thing of like, that's not what this is about. I think most people that do really well in these song camps are people that sign up just because they want to make music, not because they want to win. But recently, like, we've had a large amount of people sign up just purely based on the fact that they want to win some money. And they don't really like care about making good music. They just want to make, like, yeah. And they're always, there's been a lot of cases with some groups are like fighting and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's been that was a downside of this last song camp. And I was about to ask you if you've noticed that in any groups, but I'm gonna assume no, because yeah. But yeah, it's definitely it's a weird thing, and that's that's the weird thing about song camp, where like we want to continue doing this. We love the judges when they come, and like talk about the music and all kinds of stuff like that. But the only thing about bringing it back is if this is gonna keep happening, then I don't know, because it was like a bit of a serious thing this time. Like it was getting pretty bad this time around. So
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't necessarily, I can't speak for anyone else, but in my experience so far, in like what I would call like industry experience, I guess, everyone, what you're doing, everyone participating in what you're doing, everyone is essentially trying to create professional music, because this is how music is done at a professional level. People come together, they co-write, there's a producer involved, there's multiple writers involved, there's an artist involved. And so as people, eventually begin to try doing music in a professional way, they're going to realize that there's a process to it, and there's a natural flow to the creative process in general. And I think everyone in the industry can agree that when money and when winning and when success in the context of some sort of hierarchy or social game is really your end goal, you are actually you're kind of working against the song. You're not really working for the music's best intention. And I think if people are experiencing that in this contest, or they're experiencing that at this level or wherever they're at in their progress in terms of, like understanding, the natural flow of like creativity and like being open to the way that songs form themselves, that's unfortunate, but I think it's a big learning lesson for people. And I hope that people can hear this and understand that, it isn't about winning and it isn't about money or being the best, because at the end of the day, there's just like a million, a billion, trillion, I don't even know. There's so many people in the world doing so many different things that it's not worth your time to try being the best, in comparison to anyone else. It's like, just be the best in comparison to you and do what you like and follow your heart, like, that's the only thing that's going to get you anywhere, and I'm saying that with certainty because that's what I've started to do. Like, I just follow my heart. I just do what I want. I like the music I make, and I do it because I like it, not because I want to win or because I want to make a lot of money. I want to get money because I need to pay my bills. But like, other than that, I just want to survive. I just want to be able, we live in a society that demands us to pay rent, and we got to pay our phone bills, got to pay for internet, we got to pay hydro. So it's like, all of those things, of course, are very important, but like, to allow those things to be your sole motivator for, creating something, like creation is a beautiful process, and to put, monetary reward or benefit at the center of that is almost like polluting the waters, I think, that's just my take.
Yeah. I think that's a great take. It is a question that I have kind of been asking around, especially recently, because recently we've had a streak of artists come onto the show that were a part of Song Camp, and every time we bring it up, I have been asking that, because it's just a weird thing of, it's kind of weird to do it on live radio, but it's just a weird thing of like, I've been 100% questioning bringing them back, like bringing back Song Camp. It's just because this Song Camp was super, like, the energy levels were super, like, they started off great, and I was excited. It was our biggest song camp yet, especially with the fact that our first ever song camp was 4 people versus this song camp that had 70 people.
Wow.
It's a matter of like, oh my God, we brought together 70. With the fact that we were able to bring 70 artists together was like the best feeling in the world. And right away, all kinds of drama, and it was super like, like it, and it was definitely like a tough thing to wonder if like bringing him back was worth it. So it's just cool to hear like artists' takes, and especially from people that have done it multiple times now. Yeah, and especially from professionals like you, it's definitely good to hear that's still there. That's something that I've kind of like failed to see from a lot of the artists that were starting drama. That it's like a matter of like keep in mind that like we're all. I feel like if you're a musician and you're not making you're making music to like be rich or to be famous and live that lavish lifestyle, like I don't think music is for you, because I think like if you're making music, you need to make music because you love making music. Simple as that. Example, like yeah, I'm at this point I'm just quoting you because that's exactly what you had just explained. So yeah, I think on that note, we're coming near to I completely had lost track of time. Yeah, we're coming near the end of the show. I think right before we end off the show though, we're gonna play I Just Want to See My Friends. Ooh. That song stuck in my head ever since it's dropped. I'm telling you, today's Saturday. I've had it on repeat since 9 p.m. on Thursday when it released.
9 p.m.
Yeah, on the dot 9 p.m. as soon as it came out, I had the app ready to go. I got the email, I already saved it, everything. So I know that everyone listening right now.
I know you pre-saved
it. Yeah. So everyone listening right now, you go love this song 100%. This song, especially during COVID-19. Thank you again, WAYFIE, for coming onto the show.
Thank you, Kalyan.
Yeah, we hope to have you return sometime again in the future for any future releases. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said besides let's play I Just Want to See My Friends by WAYFIE.
4 calls later, I'm a mess. 4 o'clock and I still need to get dressed. Blank page and I'm trying to be on my phone less. But I don't wanna feel like I need to be with somebody else to feel okay. I've been hard on myself and I don't want love from somebody who doesn't know me. I just wanna see my friends. I just wanna see my friends. FOMO in 2 weeks and I'm alone. I think about a weekend trip to Arizona. Fun now, I sip iced tea in a coma. But I don't wanna feel like I need to be with somebody else to feel okay. I've been hard on myself and I don't want love from somebody who doesn't know me. I just wanna see my friends. 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 I really wanna see her. Thank God my friend called me on the phone. We talk a little bit, now I don't feel so alone. I care and he cares about the moment. But I don't wanna feel like I need to be with somebody else to feel okay. I've been hard on myself and I don't want love from somebody who doesn't know me. I just wanna see my friends. I just wanna see my friends.
Thank you everyone for listening to this week's show of Vibe Check. To end out the show, we're going to be playing a song called Mossy Thoughts Over Lonely Bones by Fairy Thing. My bad on the mispronunciation. Incredible song. Let's get right into it. quick recap on this show. This is pretty much the end of the hour. I've been your host, Kalyan and Rath. You're listening to VibeCheck. Make sure to tune in on us Tuesdays, 3 to 4 p.m. Next week, we'll be featuring an artist by the name of Pats. To recap this episode, we started off the episode by playing my debut single, Take Me Away, featuring Sahadi, available on all platforms under the name Kalyan Rath, Kalyan space Rath. Then we had a very long, lengthy, and amazing conversation with WAYFIE, and just talking all about everything to do with WAYFIE and all his music. You can catch his latest single, I Just Want to See My Friends, available on all platforms as well. It's my personal favorite song right now, of 2021. It is an incredible song, and it relates to so many people. You guys are definitely going to love it. Then we know that's the show by playing a song called Mossy Thoughts Over Lonely Bones by Fairy Thing. Good friend of mine, the coolest. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Hear from y'all next week. This has been VibeCheck, signing out.